do you remember the first time you went to the cinema?
I was trying to think about this. I can't actually.
It's hard,
remember
right?
I mean, I can remember a big deal. We're talking about Star Wars. I can remember going to see Star Wars in the cinema. I can remember going to see Grease.
Okay,
in the cinema when it first came out. I mean, I had been taken to things before on birthdays and so on.
Yes.
I think I was taken to like reissues of things like, I think I went to see Mary Poppins when I was very young. And not when it first came out, I will point out. But sort of reissue of it.
I like a reissue because, there's so many classics that I obviously missed. You know what I mean? I got to see Jaws at the cinema recently,
right?
Which would probably have been my number 2 favorite movie.
But I think what's really interesting is you talking about that course that you did and seeing films in a cinema
for the first time,
rather than seeing them on a, you can have a good experience watching something on a small screen or, but the experience of watching in a cinema is a different one.
With other people,
Yeah. So it's the collective, response to something, which, I think that informs how you.
Over the past little while, now that I'm more of an avid, cinema goer now than I was when I was younger, I have a cinema card and stuff, which was the essence of, the creation of the podcast. Was me and my co-host, who we usually do this with, Aaron. We both got cinema cards, unlimited cards, when we were in college together, and we said, right, we're going to go every weekend and we're going to talk about the films. But now, because I've gone so much, now everything in the cinema annoys me. You know what I mean? With people making noises and stuff.
Right, yeah, behavior, yeah.
But at the same time, you can ignore great moments when, in a film there's a big moment and the audience erupts or whatever, you know?
There is a sort of collective thing that happens. It's different to theatre, obviously, because it's done and it's finished and it's up there on the screen, and so it's not going to be a two-way response. But I think you can still experience something differently watching a film with an audience. I mean, the first time I have been back at the cinema since lockdown was to see the new Bond movie.
Which I thought was great, by the way.
Which was great. Oh, no, I've been back again because I went to see the new West Side Story, which was amazing.
Which, by the way, I started watching last night and I was falling asleep. I had to go to bed. But yeah, it's great.
You need to give that time when you're fully on it, I think, because and people talk about, it's a remake. It's not a remake, because what Spielberg did was he returned to the stage show.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
He
kind of incorporates both, doesn't he?
It does. I mean, and it can't help but be compared to the 1961 movie. But I just think it's a really smart, very well cast, just extremely inventive and beautiful piece of filmmaking. I loved it.
Yeah,
really, really loved it.
I've loved what I've seen so far, and some of the voices, beautiful songs and stuff. And I don't have any memories of the very first one. I have seen it a long time ago, but it's not one I grew up with or anything. But so things like Jaws at the cinema, and I saw where I was to see the cinema. There were classics. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah, do you know I've never seen that?
Well, it's a great film and stuff. It is long. Slow, so long and slow. In fact, there was an interval at the cinema, which obviously was a thing back in the day, but they kept it in for the reissue in 2018 or whatever I saw it. Halfway through, 20-minute break.
Okay. I watched a lot of films during lockdown, as many people did. But the first one I remember watching, which I watched again recently, and this is a thing: if I like a movie, I don't mind watching it again.
Yeah.
And there are certain films that if they are on TV, I said that already, Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah, I'm the same.
But, I mean, another one, completely different one, is Bridesmaids. If Bridesmaids is on, I am watching it.
I love that.
Because it's so good. And again, just completely different to this one we're talking about here, but fantastic ensemble playing, wonderful performances from everybody. I mean, Kristen Wiig, amazing, brilliantly funny. But Melissa McCarthy... Rose Byrne as Helen, the kind of her rival, who's sort of getting between her and her great friend who's getting married, and just certain scenes in that. I mean, the scene on the plane where she's really, really stressed about flying, and then she takes some kind of pill, and then she has a drink, and she's just all over the place. And then I learned a lot of that was improvised. A lot of that was not scripted.
Oh, really?
Because the most of the performers in that movie come from that improv comedy,
Saturday Night Live,
and so they're very accustomed to just being quick and clever and doing this character comedy, which you can't learn. It's just something that you can do or you can't do, I think.
Yeah. I feel like definitely Star Wars and Jaws as well are ones that, it's just on. I also love the Rush Hour films. I don't know if you've seen Rush Hour.
I haven't seen. Is that Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker.
Right.
Yeah, good buddy cop comedy. That's just, again, it doesn't need to be too serious.
No.
Just as a fun film that you can put on.
No, I know. I mean, I think I like things to have some kind of intelligence behind them. I mean, even if they're daft, even if they're they're kind of quite lightweight. But the one that I was going to mention that I kind of got sidetracked, the film that I rewatched recently was Knives Out. Have you seen that?
Oh man, yes. We did an episode about Knives Out about a year ago, and it was, I think Aaron, my co-host, quote was, "This film reminded me why I want to be an actor."
Right. Because again, an amazing collection of actors, Christopher Plummer, Daniel Craig doing this outrageous kind of Southern fried. Because I thought that was going to be a red herring. I thought he's going to turn out not to be who he claims to be because he's doing this outrageous Southern accent.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. He was this private investigator. But Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis,
Ana de Armas, brilliant. Yes. Yeah, she's great.
Very nice performances from everybody in it as well.
That's a great one.
That was great. I really enjoyed that.
Did you have a first favourite film? Do you remember what your favourite film was when you were younger?
Well, I mean, it's such a cliche in a way, but The Wizard of Oz, I love, and it's another one that I can watch over and over and over, and it's just, I think it's to do with seeing it when I was young. Because
I think that adds to lots of things like that.
It was and still is, a kind of family holiday staple.
Yep, absolutely.
So at Christmas, at Easter, whatever, they'll put The Wizard of Oz on. But it's just, I mean, it's essentially the performance at the heart of it by Judy Garland, because she's so believable. She's so, there's a sort of lack of artifice about what she's doing that is brilliant. But the characters she's surrounded by as well. And it's interesting to read, if you read anything about the making of that film, the fact that, the Tin Man was supposed to be played by another actor called Buddy Ebsen, who inhaled some of the metallic paint that he wore, and that, did for him. He couldn't continue.
Wow.
And then Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West, the scene where she first appears, and then she kind of goes down a trap, and this big blast of, not just smoke, kind of like fire.
Yeah.
And she got 3rd-degree burns when that was happening. So, lots of stuff going on. There's the urban myths about you can see one of the Munchkins as himself. I don't think that's true. I don't think
it's also a bit morbid as well.
It's very morbid, but I don't think that is actually the case.
No.